What is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, it's that time of the month again. We're a little bit late again, but, you know, like, life and stuff. But it's tier list time. The month of March, or the month of April, I can't really remember where we're at, I've been a bit late lately, so I've just been, like, all over the shop. But we do have this month's tier list with the release of Iso and Okiku, V2 Franky / V2 Chopper, and V2 Brook. We did make some changes to the tier list, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And while you're down there, don't forget to bell a like on the video. If you're enjoying the tier lists, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if you would change anything. Let me know if you agree with anything. I love to have a chat about this sort of stuff. Keep it positive. Smash the like button. And if you are new to the channel or you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button. 55% of you guys haven't subbed. Like, YouTube's ratting you out. What are you doing? It's good OPTC content. Most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Alright, so here we are once again. Tier list is back. Let's take a look at the tier list before we actually dive in to the new units that we will be talking about today. We'll be talking about the new Iso, the treasure map character, or treasure map legend, and then we have the new SUGO Fest Brook, as well as General Franky V2. For some reason, I put them in twice to my tier list, but look, don't worry about that. Before we do continue, as always, I do want to give a huge shout out to the tier list maker. I will leave a link in the description below. This is my personal tier list. I did create this when I had my Japan account. And obviously, big shout out to the OPTC database for the images provided. Links to both of those will be in the description as always. With my tier list, I like to rank characters on usability. Now, how useful is a character? How often I use that character, I guess, is subjective. But those particular characters sort of pop up in most teams, or in most particular cases, are going to rank higher than others. Stuff like power, stuff like speed, stuff like reliability are the big three categories. Classes and colors obviously will come into play each month depending on what's happening for that month. And obviously characters will change around each particular month depending on the content. We do have a bunch of tiers, and if you haven't seen my tier list already, what are you doing? A link to the playlist will be in the description below. Go check them out, and you can check out all the old tier lists as well. We not only have legend tier lists, but we also have other tier lists as well. But this particular tier here, this first tier is needs a 6+ or Dookie. If they don't have a 6+ already, they need one, and if they have one, they suck. Basically, these characters all are just, like, whatever. Big Mom's probably the only character that I'd probably argue to be moved, or maybe Magellan, but, like, I just don't care for their playstyle. Rare Recruit tier, these characters here all are sort of on the tier of Rare Recruit. This guy here should be getting his 6+ really, really soon. I just sort of, like, use Rare Recruits more than I would use these Legends. I can't wait for this guy's 6+. And other than that, I don't think anyone should be moved up. I don't think anyone should be moved down in that sense as well. If YB Marco switchability wasn't so broken, I'd probably move them down. But other than that, I'd probably just leave it as it is. For the support tier, these characters here, you just want to boost their support. Get them to level 5, let them sit in your box and let them collect dust. That's all you're going to use these characters for, is their support. That is it. I guess you could maybe argue Lucci this there for support, but, like, that Lucci's so shit. Like, he's so bad. So bad. Onto, when content requires or niche. These characters are good in, like, a particular instance. Franky, obviously, with his big father effect. The blow away and the end of turn damage from Kuma. The auto trigger of poison. The revive from Brook. XP. Extra drops. This Blackbeard, obviously, being, like, that 8-turn dual unit is pretty niche. All these characters, like, they're only really good in one particular area. And that's sort of why I have them here. Solid Hybrid. These characters here, basically, you never run 2 of them. Like, it's as simple as that. You are never running 2 of these units as your captains. Obviously, we are well in the hybrid meta, and most of the captains in tiers above, you'll see that you want to run with other characters. But these characters, like, you can use them, and they can still clear content, but they're just not the greatest. But, like, when I say solid hybrid, like, this Blackbeard was really, really good because, like, he's great for worst generation. Koala's got the special reverse. Marco's got his auto heal. Stampede Luffy's got Despair and Paralysis removal. Halloween Shanks is Halloween Shanks. Yeah, look, people probably won't tell me to move him, but whatever. Halloween Ace has the special rewind and special bind removal. Like, these sort of things, and, like, Despair here. These particular things are very, very handy as well. Once we start moving up the ladder now, we can start sort of seeing if anyone needs to be moved. A-tier subs. These guys are pretty good. I would, like, level these guys up, but obviously I would make the higher tiers a priority, and we'll talk about that once we get there. None of these characters I would probably move, to be honest. This Dofi, I think I put him here last month because you can use the Caesar support on him, which makes him a lot more beneficial, and he's an attack booster now. if you can't get his, like, overkill damage. His overkill damage is really, really good. I do think he's on par with these two super evolutions here as well. Yeah, I think everyone's fine here. I don't think anyone needs to be moved. If you guys want to see my justification for these, like I said, go check out the old tier list. A tier captains. These particular captains are still very, very good. Yeah, I think everyone here is fine. Everyone here is pretty much fine. I think Nami and Usopp, I don't love their style of play, and I do have them now, but I haven't, like, obviously used them. But for me, I feel like they're more of a sub than an actual captain. Obviously, they have that ability to, like, get the delay if you do a certain amount of damage, but I think you're mainly using them for, like, their special bind, color affinity, and paralysis removal. They have a really good switch ability as well, like a really, really good switch ability. I don't know if you'd be using them as a captain. Let me know if you guys are, like, even in Kazuna, like, the Super Boss Kazuna that just came past against Orochi, I thought they would be really, really good, but even still, they weren't, like, all that crash hot. Moving up to S tier sub now, these particular characters are, like, some of the best subs in the game, like, but the thing with these characters are, you're only ever using them as subs nowadays, like, you're only ever using them as subs, really. I would make an argument to drop this Kaido down. I do think this Kaido's captain ability is better than what it is, like, said to be, like, a sub, and I don't run him as a sub anymore. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time I used this Kaido as a sub. I do think the Big Mom is a lot better, and, like, we'll talk about that in a second. But the big reason I think Big Mom is better is because she boosts int and psi, where Kaido is int and strength, and then dex, sorry. So I do think the Kaido needs to drop. I do think he's, like, better than most of these captains in here, but I guess you could argue, like, the Katakuri and Final Tap Luffy are, like, up there as well. These three characters, I just don't like running them. I'm just not a big fan. The big thing about Kaido is he's still a speed captain. Like, he gives a lot of cooldowns. But I'm just not a big fan. I'm just not a big fan of him. Other than that, I think everyone else is fine here for the subs. You could make an argument for me for Perona to, like, be moved up or down, depending on what, like, how you want to, like, argue her. But, like, getting that guaranteed conditional is really, really nice. In terms of the S tier captains now. Now, these guys here are predominantly used as captains. But that doesn't mean they can't be used as sailors as well. V1 Kaido, the law states is if you can use V1 Kaido for content, use V1 Kaido. It's as simple as that. Moriarty's still amazing. Zoro's still amazing. Big Mom, absolutely incredible. Bonnie still has that unique ability to get around slot bind, to get around special bind, special. She got built-in fear, basically. And if you need that, Bonnie's going to be your go-to gal. This Boa, I think, is very underrated. Incredibly underrated. The Mero ability is really, really strong in long content. And in short content, she's very powerful. 6+ Odin, very good. The Beast Pirates, absolute weapons. Very, very nice. Carrot Wanda and Cat Dog. We're going to have a chat about these three characters in 2 seconds. We're going to have a look at the tier above this. We're going to slide up to the amazing tier here. Now, I want to have a chat about King and Queen and Cat Dog. I think Cat Dog need to be moved up into amazing. I just ran them for the new arena, and they are the fastest team, like, going around without the new batch. The fact that they could punish their own arena, and then the next arena to come out to be probably one of the hardest arenas that has come out, and these guys just decimate it, was really, really good to see. They're great in, like, they're not great in long content because, like, of their Sulong forms, but they were so damn powerful, like, so ridiculously powerful, that I could use them in a forest. And they worked really, really well in a forest. Like, there was no issues taking them into a forest. It was wild. Actually wild. I do want to probably drop Lucci now. I do think Lucci's probably had his time in the sun as an amazing character. He's still a very, very good Dex leader. Very, very good Dex leader. I would kind of prefer to run these guys as Dex leaders nowadays, though. Because base stat boosts, you can use stuff like Bond Clay. And there's other base stat boosters for fighters and powerhouse characters now. So that's a big reason why I actually want to drop Lucci. But he's still a Dex-based orb booster, as well as having a very good, very powerful special. He's still a very good captain, don't get me wrong. But I would just rather run like these guys over here. As for Whitebeard versus Shanks, I do think verse characters have dropped off quite a bit. Like, they have dropped off quite a bit. I do think their specials are still very, very powerful, though. And I do think they're probably better than most of these S-tier captain characters. As for Robin Jimbei, I'm going to move Robin Jimbei up into God tier. I think that Robin Jimbei have been used enough in content recently to warrant them to be in God tier. Simple as that. I use them in every like one team based off for Kazuna. They're great in arenas because their special just does so much. They're great in garbs challenges. They're great in long content. They're great everywhere. They're so good. Like, they're so ridiculously good. I do think it's probably time we drop Vivi down. Nah, look, I can't do it. Vivi's just still so damn powerful. Like, so ridiculously powerful. I do think I want to drop Odin into Amazing after his sort of time in the sun for his month. I think Kinemon Dendro had shown way more potential than what Odin did. Odin was great in, like, Co-op Kazuna for getting those big damage numbers, and Odin's still really, really good. Like, he's a free spirit and a slasher captain. I'm not discrediting that he's not good. I just don't think that doesn't provide as much as what some of these other characters can provide. He is a super class to slashers, obviously, which is great. But if I compared him to, say, Dofi, Dofi's special just provides so much more. His super class provides so much more. And even though he is only a mono class captain, he can still boost other like characters as well. So he also has special bind removal, like he has utility in his kit where Odin doesn't. So that's my big argument there. I don't know what I want to do about King and Queen. King and Queen are still really, really powerful. The combination of the two, I do think Cat Dog are better nowadays. I really do. But I do think King and Queen are very, very good. Very, very good. Would I say they're S tier captains? Maybe. But they can still do, like, some really, really cool things. Like, really, really cool things. For now, though, I do want to drop them into S tier captain. Mainly because whenever I'm using King and Queen, I'm mainly using them for their auto-triggering effect. They do have Fear, which is really, really cool. But that's only, like, effective as a sailor. And you can still use them as a sailor, right? Like, you definitely can. They give cooldowns. They do an attack boost, an orb boost, respectively, for King and Queen. And they're a chain boost and chain boundary effect. Very, very powerful legends for Driven and Powerhouse teams, especially. But lately, I just think Cat Dog have just been coming out supreme. Like, when you can make these two characters work, they work a little bit nicer than these two characters. Don't get me wrong. King and Queen can still speed through, like, Dofi 2, Revolutionary Army 2. They still speed through it very, very nicely. But these guys here also can do stuff like that too. And you have a bit more flexibility with their team building because you can do, like, 3 colors and, like, a whole bunch of classes. Wonder and Carrot. Wonder and Carrot, I'm putting into God tier. I think it's time. Wonder and Carrot, I use so much. Like, their ability to give so much cooldowns for, like, no-stall teams is wild. They have a very good orb boost to a bunch of different classes. And they just, like, can, like, help you take down fodder stages just by giving themselves an attack boost. They are incredibly strong. They are very, very good. They are very underrated. And even as a captain, they are very, very underrated as well. I do think they are very, very good. I don't know if I'd say they're as good as, like, these characters over here. But, like, in terms of usefulness, as I stated at the start of the video, I use Carrot and Wonder. And same with Robin and Jimbei. Like, I use these two characters so goddamn much. They're both cerebrals as well. So, like, and Carrot Wonder are slashers. So, like, they find their way onto so many teams that it's just not even funny. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Other than that, I think we're pretty good for everything else. I guess you could maybe argue to drop Vivi down, but, like, Vivi for me is just an attack. She's an orb booster for 3 turn. Like, Vivi's just still so good. I can't do it. I actually can't do it. As for the broken and most valuable tier, none of these characters are moving. The only one that I would probably argue, like, is if you wanted to make this a top 5, I would do, like, the Straw Hat Rainbow and have the Straw Hats at the back end here, and then maybe drop Bonchan, like, into God tier. But the title of this is broken. And Bonchan is broken. Like, being anything you need Bonchan to be, as your base stat booster, any super class, it's wild. And then he can actually unlock, like, things like Page 1 ulti. Like, so for Super Boss Kazuna, he's just an absolute god. I don't think I could change anything else here. But as for the changes, they're the big ones that I wanted to, like, big ones I wanted to make. Straw Hat Crew. Nowadays, I think I don't run this character a lot. Fire Tank Pirates, I guess you could make the same argument for me. But I just still think that they're better than, like, most of these characters here. As a Driven captain, I would still prefer to run Fire Tank. Or have him as a sailor on these guys' particular teams. Powerhouse captain, I would love running the Beast Pirates. I haven't ran Lucci in God knows how long, but I've definitely been running stuff like Dofi still. The Kid the kid effect where you can just like get whatever special you need. Ace and Akainu, honestly, I would argue Ace and Akainu's up here. Like, in terms of usefulness on my tier list, Ace versus Akainu is like my most used legend. They pop up on literally every single team. But I can't say they're as good as these other characters up here. For me, like, I think like Ace Saba would be somewhere here. Kinemon Dendro would definitely be up there. Kid would probably be here somewhere. Ace and Akainu would be like right up here. Yeah, and the rest would probably look a little bit like that if you were going in order. Going in order up here for me, I think obviously with the Rainbow Border, the Straw Hat Crew, like their final tap is absolutely cooked. Toki for me is the most valuable legend in the game. The ability to just bypass like any like debuff mechanic is so powerful. And then 3.5 times attack and orb boost. When you can like partner it up with something like Odin as your captain in your super class, this combination like is just weaponry. You have this, Roger's still an absolute god. Whichever Yamato you want to look at, the 6+ or the 6-star, I do think they pretty work in tandem with each other nowadays. And you can sort of just get whichever one you need. Wodja, easily the best switch in the game now. Like, I don't even, there's nothing that comes close. Wodja has the best switch in the game. Just don't even, like, doesn't matter. Like I don't want to hear it. The amount of damage you get with these guys is just wild. They have so many good supports too. Bonchan, as we spoke about, can be anything. And then obviously just like a level 1 final tap Straw Hats. Just makes team building, like, easy mode. This character makes team building so easy. So ridiculously easy. So that's the tier list. As of, like, the new updated tier list for the month. Besides the new characters. So let's take a look at Iso and Okiku. The newest legend that did release in Treasure Map against Treasure Map Orochi. Now, this particular character is a bit weird. I do think this character is basically a V2 version of Magellan. So, like, this Magellan right here, I do think they are a better version of this Magellan. So, this Magellan is a quick super type, removes paralysis in his kit. Well, guess what? So does Iso and Okiku. And they are a quick super type. As a captain, I do think they're very, very good. I don't know if I would say they're just crazy good. Mainly because their special is so janky. Like, it's so janky. For that reason, I would probably put them in A tier captain. As you need, like, 5 slashes to get 2 Wano orbs on your captains. And then if you have 5 shooters, you get 2 Wano orbs on your, like, bottom row. So to make that work, you need, like, a slasher shooter team. Like, at least 5 of them. And it's just, like, not that great synergy with the slasher and shooter classes. But they are a very good quick captain still. Like, they are still a quick captain, which is great. Quick captains are pretty hard to come by, to be honest, if I'm completely honest. But to get their super typing is very janky because, like, unless you're using Wodja on the team, trying to find a character that can fit their requirements of, like, the scabbards, it's fairly tricky. Like, it's actually fairly tricky. Their special is a 3.5 times chain lock as well for 3 turns, which is quite nice. And then their super type, like, adds 0.3 to that. As well as giving the middle row Wano slots. But, like, the fact you just can't generate them all the time, like, unlike with, like, Kinemon and Dendro, like, this particular Kinemon Dendro, right? This particular character right here, if you hit with color affinity, you get Wano slots, and their switch is, like, extra damage for slashes. When you compare that to, like, just getting, like, Wano slots, like, every now and again with a special, or a super type, it's just not that great. Like, it's really not that good. Getting around paralysis is awesome. I did do a Revolutionary Army 2 run with Iso and Kiku and Carrot Wanda. It's another reason I want to put Carrot Wanda up there. They sped through Revolutionary Army 2 like there was no tomorrow. Like, it was wild. With the help of Iso and Okiku. It was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. So they can do, like, content. Like, they can beat stuff. But they're just such a janky character. And the synergy of their 2 classes doesn't really match up in the way that you want it to. So because of that, I'm going to leave him as an A tier captain. Like, I wouldn't say they're better than, like, these characters here. Like, I honestly, like, Final Tap Luffy, maybe, I guess. I mean, I'm not a huge Final Tap Luffy fan. Katakuri, though, like, I would probably rather run Katakuri. Like, in hindsight, to be honest. So, I'm going to stick them in A tier captain for now. We'll see how we go moving forward. Obviously, they were so good for the Super Boss Kazuna. But, like, the Super Boss Kazuna was so built around them. I can't really use that as a justification to say that they are, like, that amazing, right? But nevertheless, Iso, Okiku finally have a legend in the game, which is pretty cool to see. onto the two newest legends, the debut legends that did just come out as of the end of this month. We got V2 Franky, and we got V2 Brook. Or Franky and Chopper, if you want to say that. Now, I did manage to pull the Franky and Chopper. I didn't actually manage to pull the Brook. I'm kind of happy that I actually pulled Franky, even though I was more hyped for the Brook at the time. So we'll talk about the Brook first. This Brook has a resilience mechanic. Unlike V1 Brook, where you could literally revive, this particular Brook, he has a resilience. So while this Brook had a revive, this guy has a resilience. And, like, it goes through multiple attacks, which is cool. It leaves you on 1 HP. Like, you don't come back and remove all those debuffs, which is instantly worse than something like this. Like, it's not even close. But he is a 5 times captain when you below 30% HP for free spirits. He's a super class of free spirits. Otherwise, he's a 4.75 times, which is very, very good. Like, very, very strong. He's a quick unit, and he's a super class unit for free spirits, and he's a free spirit slasher, which has been getting a lot of support lately. A lot of support. His special can rotate block orbs, empty, bomb, all of those types of orbs, I'm pretty sure, into matching, and he gives a 1.6 times chain buff, which is the highest in the game. Like, highest in the game. He gives free spirit characters cooldown, and he gives base stats as well. Very, very powerful. His super class adds 0.5 onto the chain buff as well. Very, very cool stuff. But he is very one-dimensional. Very much like this particular Katakuri being a 5 times captain to literally just powerhouse units and not really providing like matching orbs, damage reduction, or anything like that. Like, Katakuri has that healing effect. Brook has this sort of resilience effect. Though it doesn't really provide anything more. Like, it's kind of whatever. The big thing that I do like about this particular Brook is he's obviously a free spirit booster, and for that reason, it makes him a lot better. When you hybrid him up with something like Odin, because Odin's obviously a free spirit slasher, so is Brook, and you get both of their super classes working in tandem with each other, you can do some pretty cool things. I actually used this combination to take down the new arena, and I completely stuffed up the run. I calculated it wrong. I still managed to get it done because of like the damage reduction Odin can provide, the resilience being from Brook, like being at low HP. It really, like, it's like a match made in heaven, these two. Like, it's crazy, because, like, you survive on 1 HP, you then use the Odin special to get a heal and the 95% damage reduction, and then you can, like, tank the next shot. You have, like, an attack boost, color affinity, chain boost, like, base stats, super class for 2 classes. You can do some really, really cool things with these two. But if you're comparing the two, Odin is miles better. Like, it's miles better. He's a free spirit and a slasher booster. So for that reason, I have to immediately drop Brook into like a tier lower. Like there's no other like argument for that. Because of his resilience mechanic and it is his month, I do think I'll leave him in S tier captain. That is also a product of the fact that he's a free spirit booster. If he wasn't a free spirit captain, he would definitely be an A tier captain. The only reason I'm putting him in S tier captain or keeping him in that high, and I want to reiterate this, is because he's a free spirit captain. He's a mono captain, which sucks. I don't even think he, like, boosts anything else. Correct me wrong if I'm wrong in the comment section. And I haven't actually used him, like, my own, like, doubling up. So I can't comment, per se, on, like, how amazing he actually is or how bad he actually is. So I'm going to stick him in S tier captain for now, but that is subject to change. If he wasn't a free spirit captain, I would not have him here. But I do think you can do some really cool things with the Brook. And the time I've spent with Brook, like, using him as a friend captain, I've really enjoyed. So I'm going to stick him in S tier captain. The final character for the tier list is Franky. This guy definitely flew under the radar for me. I could always respect what he could do. And I was having a chat to my boy Sim. Shout out to that guy. Shout out to the GOAT, I should say. He was saying that this character's probably, like, in top 10 potential, which I don't think he is. But he's definitely up there. Like, he's definitely up there. As a captain, he's a dual unit. So, obviously, like, dual units are immediately going to suffer when it comes to captain abilities. But if you are the Psy variation, you get a 3.75 times attack boost to, I'm pretty sure it's the base classes. And then an extra 1.25 or something like that to the other classes. So, the idea of this guy is you want to build a team that has 2 of the classes. 4 of the base classes and 4 of the secondary classes. So fighter, shooter, slasher, striker as one class. And then the other class, you want to be powerhouse, cerebral, free spirit, or driven. And that way you can just get all the benefits that the Franky can provide, whether it's the extra attack or it's the built-in color affinity. as the Dex variation, you have 10 turns of burn removal, and as the Psi variation, you have 10 turns of attack down removal. Now, to me, the burn removal is just whatever. Like, it's there. It's just there. But the attack down removal, that shit brazy. Removing attack down as a passive in your captain ability is nuts. Like, that's just absolutely wild. Just wild. It saves so much room on your team. And obviously with the newest arena, like, that just showed. And it works so damn nicely. But the big thing about this particular Franky is his special ability. His special ability is a 2.5 times attack and a 2.5 times orb boost to those particular classes and those classes. The attack boost is to the primary 4. The orb boost is to the secondary 4. So if you build your team out right, Franky does all your damage. Orb boost, attack boost, and with his switch, or his super switch, you can get a 2 times color affinity boost as well. 1.5 times every time you switch. And you actually remove despair, which is great. And you get the 25% healing that something like Sanji and Pudding can do, which is what makes them so ridiculously good as a sub. Because you can get that healing. So this guy as a sub is going to see a lot of potential moving forward. A lot of potential. Removing despair as well is something that not a lot of people like sort of take into consideration. And the fact that he gives color affinity just like a Sabo does is good because he's actually a dual unit, which means you have access to 2 colors. So that color affinity switch, while it's not the greatest, it's still really powerful because you can abuse that in the way of what color you actually need to be. So very powerful character. Very powerful character. And for that reason, I do think he's much better than Brook. And for now, I'm probably going to stick him in Amazing. If not, God tier. I don't know if I want to put him in God tier. Just because I like this month is sort of catered towards this Franky. But because he's a free spirit and a slasher, which means like you have super class, he's a Psi unit. So you have like super type. He's also a Dex unit, which means you can like run him under something like these guys as the Dex super typing. You can do so much. Like, you can actually do so much with this particular character. Another thing is it's a Franky and it's actually a chopper character. So it's technically a V2 chopper, technically. And the big upside to that is you get access to all of Chopper's supports. Brule, Neko, the Pedro, no, you don't have Pedro on that. The Straw Hats, like, you just have a lot of different options when it comes to utilizing the Chopper supports. And it actually opens the door to a lot of different team building. So, I don't want to gas these two characters up too much. I don't want to undersell Brook either. But I do really like this Franky. And ideally, like, I would want to put him up here. But because I've because I've promoted these two characters, I don't want to just keep promoting characters into the God tier willy-nilly. As it is getting a little bit like crowded up the top here, and eventually we're going to have to start dropping some characters, and we are going to start having to be a little bit more ruthless, and I'm kind of scared because I think these two characters are going to be moving very soon as well. But I think that's going to wrap up the tier list for today, guys. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. As always, keep it positive. I love to have a chat about this particular kind of stuff, and I will, as always, I will leave a picture of the tier list at the end of the video. But as I mentioned, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And while you're down there, don't forget to belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!